Hello, hello, and welcome back to Fem Tarot. Yet another live with a very special guest. And we always have special guests here, you know this. But I'm really excited because I'm sure that if you haven't heard of her before, you will now. If you're not on TikTok, then that's probably why, because she's all over TikTok and she's become a sensation, and I love her. She's got a great spirit and energy about her, and I'm going to bring her up in a minute. I just wanted to say hello to the chat and everyone who is here today, and thank you very much, Femmies. Also, that's why I've got the ticker down there, just to remind you, since we're talking about animals and Shirley will be talking to animals, your animals, I just want to remind you about the Fem Rescue Fund, which is I'm collecting money. So your donations, if you don't want to donate to the channel, and you don't have to, then I will ask you to donate to the Fem Rescue Fund, because I help animals, rescue animals here in Greece, abused animals. There is a huge issue here. A lot of these animals have nowhere to go because there aren't enough, shelters and kennels around. So I'm going to be picking a different charity, a different shelter every quarterly, depending on the amount that we collect. And I'll be donating those, and I will be doing separate videos, so you'll be totally aware as to where your donations go. So just remind you, everything is down below. Also, let me just remind you that if you're new here, please, like this video if you like it, or if you haven't already, go ahead. It's not going to harm anyone, and actually it helps the channel. And that's one way of showing your love too. And subscribe to the channel too. I've also added down below Shirley's details, where you can reach out to her, where you can find her website and everything, if you want to book a reading with her. And before we go, one last thing. If you want to join our growing community on Discord, I would highly encourage you to sign up on Discord. Everything's down below in the description box. So basically, go to the description box. Everything is down there, and join our family hangout, because we're just opening conversations there. We just talk every day. I post information or things that are of interest to you. I cannot speak today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've even realized my voice has gone deeper today. I don't know. So basically that's it. I don't want to hold you from Shirley, because we have a lot to talk about, and I'm really excited to introduce you to Shirley, and Shirley to you, because she's heard a lot about the Femmies and this community. I'm going to say a quick hello to the chat and the mods. Hello everyone. Hello Isa, thank you for being such a wonderful mod always and being so supportive. Elizabeth is in the house. Hi Elizabeth. Amber too. Well, I'm back. I needed that little break, guys, but I'm back with a vengeance. Trust me. Hi, Kate. I'm really looking forward to it as well. Danny's in the house too. Guys, I'm so excited. James, I've missed you. Where have you been? I'm so glad you caught this live. This is going to be so great, everyone. Light mission as well. Hello. And I don't want to keep Shirley any longer from you either. So I'm going to just bring Shirley up. Hello.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here, because I know you haven't been feeling very well the last few days, but you're on the mend now. You're here, and I'm really excited to do this. And we've actually chatted a couple of times, and we couldn't stop talking. We had really busy schedules, and we're both between, appointments and readings and everything, and we wouldn't stop because there was just so much. And I told Shirley that I would love to leave some stuff out so we can talk about it live here with everyone. Here. Elizabeth says,
Hi,
hi,
Elizabeth.
Shirley.
Hi, everybody. Yeah. So I don't really, when I am working with animals or I'm talking, a lot of times, like, you guys are here, names are coming up and stuff, but I have a lot of animals that get into my head That would be the easiest way to explain it. So it's either I read up there or I read down here. So if I miss something that's on the little ticker talker that goes by, my apologies. That's they're going to bother me more in my head than you guys are going to bother me down there. So I'm going to listen up above.
So I'll be bringing up the comments anyway, so we won't be missing anything. And I understand, because we've talked about this, when you communicate with, well, actually, let me just say that Shirley doesn't just communicate with animals. She communicates with the interspecies. And I would like to touch upon that. So do you want to explain to everyone what exactly you do and how you do it?
Okay, well, exactly how I do it. I mean, I could sit there and say, oh, I do it this certain way, but it's kind of one of those things that you don't know for sure how you do it. It just happens. Okay, so some people can see things, some people hear things, some people can sense things. I seem to have a track where I'm the full scam or full spectrum. Yeah, I can't talk today either, huh? So
the energy is
the energy is just really flaming. And just so that you know, like where I happen to live in like less than like about a mile away, there's a huge fire. So there's all these clouds of fear and different things that are happening. And so they kind of go through, and we have a hurricane tropical storm coming through, which is really great because it's fire against water, right? So it works out really, really well. But anyway, so, and if my voice all of a sudden changes, and then depending upon the animals that come into my head, sometimes, talking cat would be like talking Chinese, talking dog might be talking, Spanish, and talking horse is something different, so they all have their own language and skill. But going back to interspecies communications, it doesn't matter if you got 2 legs, 4 legs, or feathers, or you're here as a live being. Like I have a lot of plants behind me, okay? And people go like, oh, am I a vegetarian? Well, I can hear them. So I'm really, I'm just not Gandhi, so I mean, so I just go, okay, can I please have something that's happy, that is willing to help my nutrition so that I can be here, and like volunteers in that sense. But they have their own being, they're having their own experience here. So every being that is here is having an experience, whether they're in another dimension or not, or whatever. And it crosses over. It's just that we don't necessarily, think about it. So it's almost like if you're remote controlling your TV, you might be on channel 4, but you have 600 other channels that you could go to. You just happen to not be listening to those right now. You're focused right into that one. And that's kind of how it happens with me. Some animals like to give you concepts, just like I know it. Like, I would argue with you and I'd say, no, it's pizza. And I personally, I'm not into pizza, but I go, no, it's pizza. I really love pizza. I want pizza, because they're giving that to me. So I know it's an absolute, they might do that, or they might give you feelings. A lot of times when there's health issues or whatever, they'll step in and they'll show me where their pain is, but they don't ever make it really like too much that we could take. It's like they go tap, tap, like, see right here, and they will give it a level between, 1 and 10, whatever that is. It's kind of like some people can walk into a room and all of a sudden the hairs on their back go up and they're like, oh, what's going on in here? So there's all different sorts of ways. It's just that I'm 64 and I've been doing it like forever, so I don't know how it is not to do it. I mean, this is a picture of me. Oops. There.
Oop, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe backwards. Oops.
A little bit backwards towards. There you go. That's much better.
Okay, and so yeah, my mother was pretty eccentric. Don't ever do this with your kids. Okay, because I mean, that's even a baby horse. But that horse's mom really raised me, so I didn't have a way of speaking at that age to people, but I did interspecies to the horse. So it was really, really clear, and people, it's like some people have more abilities in one physical, that they can, like, let's say they're really good at running, or they're really good at dancing, or they're really good at hopping on one foot. And then other ones are like, forget that, but I can sing. Everybody has their natural talents. But if you don't work the muscle, how are you going to have it happen? So everybody has a muscle to do it. It's just a matter of learning where you're at and then putting things aside, and then you're able to do it. But if you go and say, "Oh no, I can't do that," well, hi, we all know how that works, right? Or if you go, am I doing it right? I have to do it right. Like, okay, I'm going to be really professional now. Hi, nice to meet you. It doesn't work that way. I want to go up to you and say, it's such a pleasure to meet you, because that wouldn't be being me.
That's so true. But you've been doing this for like all your life, right? Since you were a child. What have you learned? Because there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from animals, as well as plants, as well as species, right? So give us a little bit rundown. What have you learned working with them?
Everything you see here and everything I talk about, 90% of it I've learned from animals. So they have so much more knowledge than what we think they do, if they're willing to share. Yet at the same time, it's like people. Some people, it's like, hello, are you there? Hello, anybody home? You have that in animals too. You also have the same as attitudes. Some people can have really hard attitudes, and same with animals. I always, when I'm talking to animals, I always pay them a compliment. Well, before I'm even talking to them, the same as I would say to you, like, hi, thank you. Thank you for inviting me into your home. That was so kind of you, or, like I will say to you, you look very pretty today. Not that you didn't look pretty yesterday or the day before, but I like the outfit on you. Okay. So you always pay a compliment. Well, sometimes I might have to talk to an animal that is, quote, quote, a booger, just like, people sometimes can be boogers. And to them, I always have to be very authentic, because animals know when you're lying. They absolutely know when you're lying. So don't even bother to do it. So I have to sit there and say, on a scale from 1 to 10, I give you a 12 of being a booger. And I'm so happy you don't live with me. And they go like, well, thank you. Because they're all in this lifetime about being a booger. But if you think about that, an animal, if you have to have a booger in your life because karmically or whatever, that's what you're looking for and you're asking for, it's better it's an animal than it is a person. Because they can show you and they still have the compassion for you, but they're like mirrors. They'll give you mirrors. And some of them, they'll take on your stuff. They'll pull illnesses from you. There's so many different things. And they all pretty well know what's going on. Like, I'm pretty calm for this fire being around here. But they've all told me, no, Shirley, we'll tell you if we need you. Like, so all the animals are really pretty calm. It's the people that are all really, really upset. And the animals are like going, no, we're fine. Like, there's been some horses that wouldn't even get on a trailer. And people, because they were so wanting to evacuate. And they called me, and the horses were like, we're fine here. Where are you going to move us to? They're going to evac.
Right.
That happened. So they're safe in their home, and they didn't go, to the place where they had like a couple hundred horses, which now they're having to move one more time.
And obviously they've got, aside from everything else, it's their instinct that we have to trust more than anything. It's the animal instinct, that primal instinct that they have that we don't in some cases.
Well, we have not. Yes. There's all levels of that. It's kind of like that little pastry that has all those really thin layers on it. I forget what it's called. That's very tasty. People love to eat it. But it has like 1,000 little layers on it. And there's all different layers, and everybody's learning different things. Whether you're a dog, you're a cat, you're a plant, you're a person, whatever. Just with beings, we all have our own lessons. We all come here, trying to remember who we really are. And so, like, the animals even say to me that this whole time that we're here, like, say, for a human, it's maybe 100 years, is but a wink of an eye in real time. 1 week. How many times have I already winked here, or you? And this is just a learning place, and they do teach us a lot about compassion in the sense that they can let go of things. Like, but then again, there's animals that people rescue that keep their fears and stuff, but we keep saying, like, when we introduce them as a rescue animal, like, you say, oh, that's a cute little dog. How long have you had it? And I go like, oh, well, I don't really know. I've had her about a year. They say that she's maybe 3 or 4, but she was in such a bad shape, and this and this and this happened to her. Well, if I went to you and I said, hey, to your mom and said, oh, your daughter's looking really pretty, And then your mom goes, oh, well, you should have seen her when she was 14 and she had zits all over her face. And so we throw ourselves back into the past. We throw the animal back into the past. So I don't see rescued animals. What I see is foreign exchange students. Because if you think about the concept of foreign exchange student in your mind, you think about what those are. It's a lot happier and more and stronger for that animal to say, I'm a foreign exchange student, because they had to be special to get here, and they learned, and they're flexible and everything. And what people don't understand, animals are similar to, like, when we all went through school, you have different groupies. You have the cool kids and not the so cool kids or whatever. And like you see this at a lot of dog shows. It's really quite interesting that one dog will complain about the other, or they'll call them names because they're just not as pretty, or they're a mutt. And then the little dog is like going, no, I'm just a mutt. No, haha, you're a rescue. Okay. But a lot of times that dog will answer back and go like, excuse me, I'm a foreign exchange student. And they're like, what? And they go, exactly. Like, you don't have the brain, but I do, because I'm a foreign exchange student. I can do anything. I'm very brave. And it's just really wonderful.
Isa wants to know, do you usually talk to animals on the other side, or just here on this side?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Wherever they pretty well hang out, people, animals, it doesn't matter. Just so long as they're kind.
Which brings us to the topic of reincarnation, because we talked about it, the two of us, about, because I believe that animals reincarnate, and you said that's right. Can you elaborate a little bit? Can you explain to everyone?
Well, you have to remember
reincarnation.
You have to remember there's a being, just like there's a being inside us. There's a being inside them. So like I use the analogy that these are our cars. My car happens to be called Shirley. And so my car isn't going to last forever. And the thing about it, when they come in as animals, or they have an animal experience, they're only here for, like on the average, like 15 years, maybe. So they're if they come to help you, like they might be a friend from the other side in a different way, and they want to help you. They may not be allocated to have a human body, but they're okay to go into different animals. So they might come for 15 years as one animal when they know that you're going to be going through a certain learning levels, and then wait a little bit and then come back. And then I've had animals that people call that say, I can't do my body anymore, but I need you to go find another body because I'm going to release this one and I want to get into another one, but I want to come right away. So I know a lot of people don't see that. I don't quite understand that because I'm watching animals do it. So that's like, I'm like, I don't know, tomato, they do whatever they want to do.
Is it like with humans or with human souls where they reincarnate? Because sometimes they'll just pass on and reincarnate straight away. Not often, but they do. And that is normally because they want to come back either to the same family or the same sort of like be connected to the same group of people that they were when they had their human life, when they were on this world. So the question is, do animals, do they reincarnate straight away because they feel that they need to go back for some reason, that there is some kind of unfinished business?
Sometimes, but sometimes they just had a great life. And sometimes they take really negative energy across with them. And you cannot stop them from doing it. Like, let's say if an animal develops cancer, but it's really from the person or dark energy that's around that person, you can try to get it away from them and everything else. And they're like, no, I'm taking it to the other side, because somehow when it crosses over, it dissipates, I don't know, it becomes another rainbow or whatever. And then they go and get another body. So they come for so many different reasons. I mean, it's the same as like us being little snowflakes, you put us all together, we make snow, but each one of us is individualized, and each one of us, we have thought, and we have our own thoughts that for ourselves and what we decide. Everybody has that free will, and so do the animals. I mean, you can't stop an animal from being here at all, and you can't stop them from leaving. They have an easier time leaving because we're more scared. Like
Mm,
we have this line, like, oh no, the other side, ah, but animals don't really have that.
true.
Because they leave their bodies all the time and they come back. And they know when they come back, and they know they can leave them. It's almost like they're a Roomba, those little things that go around that vacuum the room. They know what they program it, and it's like, okay, so you don't really even notice. But we don't really do that. We really hang on tight. We have a hard time letting go.
Kate is asking that I've heard psychics say that animals are from the angelic realm. Is this true?
I think animals are from all over the place, just like we are.
True.
It's all over.
Isa wants to know, is this rainbow thing true? I have seen rainbows right after a few of my animals have passed away.
I don't know what you mean by this rainbow thing. I don't know exactly what she's saying there, but animals always give you the sign. So does loved ones that pass, so too.
Right, exactly.
And so like, you're never, the animals have told me, like, you are never alone. Like, I've had people call and say, can you please ask a dog or a cat to stay out of the bathroom when I'm in the bathroom? And the animals will like pretty well laugh and say, hey, it's better that I'm in there and I take up the room because you're never alone. You may think you're alone in the bathroom, but you are not.
No, you're not.
So you're just never alone. So you always have help around you. We just need to really love on ourselves and help ourselves first,
That's true.
And not to set up the blocks that we do for ourselves.
There are cases where you hear, like I've heard from people I know as well, not just from out there, but there's so many stories of people like passing away, and then their animals or their beloved pet passing away a few months or a few days even, or a few hours after their human has passed on. So is this because the animal is so connected on a higher level with their human that they feel this is it? There's no point in me being here. I want to, cross over along with my human. Or is there another reason for that? Is there another higher reason that happened?
Well, all of those are higher reasons. Okay. So it's the boxes, that's kind of like a little box of saying it's this way. And I don't really do boxes, which is saying I don't do boxes means I just have a really bigger box. But the thing about animals who leave, they leave because they have a reason to leave, or it's a time for them to leave, or they're going to go do something else, or whatever. It could be, okay, their human went off who they were there for, and there's no more necessity for them to stay. And at the same time, some of them like hang out for much longer. It's all so different. And it's whatever is in that moment. Where is everybody who's around them? How are all the entities playing and using their free will? What are the messages? What are you leading the energy towards? And that they're a part of that, because it's almost like a chessboard. You're moving the pieces, and so they're like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Because a lot of animals see the future, just like these animals that are out here with this fire. There are a lot of animals that have gotten injured, but it's, to me, what I keep going like, because my heart just rips. It's on a voluntary basis. Do I understand that? Absolutely not. Do I know it's true, though? Yes. And that's just a given soul. They're giving up their body, but it doesn't mean that soul is dead or that soul died and will never be anymore. It can come back where it's expecting to. That's part of the plan that it planned.
I've had
your question.
It does. And I'm doing my best. Thinking, I've had a lot of clients that we do readings, and a lot of them say, I found this cat or this kitten or this abandoned dog or whatever it may be, even a fox or a bird. They say, I feel that this was sent to me by my beloved whoever, who has crossed over. And I always tell them 100%. And the question is, well, we talked about this because we talked about Louis, my dog, and how he found his way to me after a long time. And unfortunately, there were several puppies that kind of like crossed over, that I was meant to get from the breeders. I was meant to get them, and then something happened, and then they got sick, and then I couldn't have them. So eventually it all led to Louis, and then you communicated with Louis for me, and then it all sort of made sense. But I would love to hear some anecdotes or some stories of, how animals kind of found their way to their humans, to
Well,
their
uh-huh.
why.
Well, okay, for instance, was a while back, but this one always touches my heart. I had a student in fact, she was up in Canada, and she lost her dog that she had for like 15 years, and the dog left, but the dog had said, "I'm not coming back
Hmm.
because you know what, you need to grow, and you're not going to grow with me.
Oh.
If I'm there, it won't happen." Okay, so she left, but what happened was this person was used to people. Just couldn't help it. She had a karma or whatever about being abused. And so I had gotten a call, and this is why it's really a very different story. I got a call from a breeder that had this puppy that she was going to put down because it totally hated people. And all of a
Hmm.
sudden it was like, all I could see was this person who was up in Canada, like, they need to come together. So I said, I have a dog that hates you. A puppy, a really cute little puppy, and it hates
But it hates
people.
you.
But you're very needy, and you won't let it hate you. So we
Oh,
shipped the
interesting.
dog, and the first thing he did was he peed on her. He peed on her, and he did so many things. But that dog lived for 12 years, and she really changed. Grew. He grew too, and he
Wow.
lost his eye. He got really sick, and then he says, "I really want to come back. I really want to come back." And so he went and he got another body because he had to pass. It took some weeks for the right body to come, maybe a little bit longer. And the first thing he said to her was, "It's so good to see you." And she goes, "Yeah, it's good to see you too." He goes, "No, no, to see you. I can see now. I have eyes. They work. I'm no longer blind." You know,
Oh, that's so
you
sweet.
know, and so and
Yeah.
that dog has come back a couple different times. So there's really different. I recently had one at the beginning of summer, I think, that I had a call, and the dog is dying. I mean, she has cancer and she's dying, and so but she wanted to know if they liked her enough that it would be okay if they would welcome her back. And these were people
Mm.
that don't know anything about reincarnation or anything. So I'm like going, "Oh, okay, I'm going to mention this to them." Okay, and as you know, because you really get information. I mean, if people are reading you, getting you, they're very lucky to get you because you're very clear. Which is why you say, "Well, it doesn't happen this way," because you get clear images.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, so you stay in a certain lane that works for you and is
Mhm.
really good for you. Okay. Um, so this dog asked me to ask them, and they were like, "Absolutely." So she goes, "You gotta go find me a body now, Shirley, now." And I'm like, okay, I'm a really good puppy. When they say sit, I go, okay. I'm, wait,
You're so
okay, I'm waiting. I mean, they really have me well trained. So I said to them, and she sent me a picture of a puppy. I said, no, that's not it. And so all of a sudden, this puppy litter was born the very next day. And normally
Oh,
you have to be on a list for this was a breeder. So you'll have to be on a list, a waiting list, right? And it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like we had to cut the chase because she's like, nope, here, now, because that I may be able to last till that puppy is able to go, but I don't want my people to really be out without me. And so finally we got her to go, okay. And the puppy entered. So she had two bodies. She was dying in one and growing in the other. And I had never seen that before.
It happens with humans too.
Yeah.
It
So
happens with humans too. Yeah.
really, wow. So she did that. And then she said, "I'm sorry, but I can't make it all the way, till when my body, so you need to put my body to sleep." And then she was in the puppy full time, but they would send her puppy pictures, and you would see her body where she was like, I don't know, like 12 or something. And she would be like asleep. Right. But the puppy was like, "Hi, here I am. I'm enjoying the body. We're having a good day over here."
Oh.
you know and she knew that, and she knew immediately when they picked her up, and they are like so ecstatic because they have her back, and all the things that she does, it's like, no, she does everything that she used to do. Sometimes they only do few things because remember, you're not the same as you were when you were 15.
Right, right, exactly.
And so we need to grow, and they do
Exactly.
too. you
That's
know
true. Really quick, because we've got the chat is asking. So Baroness January saying, my beloved dog Lily, and that'll be interesting if you connect with Lily, was stolen from me. She was 14 at the time. I never got to say goodbye. I'm heartbroken. I'm really sorry, Baroness. But maybe Shirley can help us.
So for that particular dog, she's been around you a lot, but because you have the trauma, and your mind keeps seeing it like you didn't get to say goodbye, you didn't get to say goodbye, you didn't get to say goodbye, and that causes you pain. It makes it so that she goes to open the door to talk to you and it slams. She goes to open the door to talk to you and it slams. So even though you don't mean to, and there's no guilt here because it's how we're trained as humans to be. I mean, you have a human body. I mean, you ask a dog when a dog is being mean to their humans, I'll go like, do you want to be human? And they're like, no, it's okay. No. Because we don't see a lot. We don't catch a lot. We have to learn it over again. And we're, I don't know why, but we're kind of set up to kind of trip ourselves all the time. And we have to gain more insight so that we're larger than tripping. So then we go, oh, no, not today. I'm not going to trip, and giving yourself lots and lots of kisses and hugs. And so in this case, I would say quit feeling guilty about it and that heart-wrenching, and know that she'll come and visit you in dreams because she's perfectly fine. She's very perfectly fine. But, and that the being stolen was something that had to happen. It wasn't like by accident, not from her point of view. From everybody else's, it might have been, but it created a wave, so to speak, I guess, like an energy wave of things that needed to be undone or tightened. Like everybody had their own way of thinking about it. So everybody was learning in a process.
What
did she's really glad that you put this up here right now, because it was like, she's like, finally, like, so now she's really jazzed because you might even feel it like she rubs against you, like leaning against you and like looks up, like I feel that a lot. And I'm not really into dogs that slobber. Like I always ask them to please keep with that. Okay? I'm just not into it. Okay. But this one, I can feel their breath a lot. Okay. And to me, I even when horses do it, all the animals laugh at me because when they blow on my neck, I'm like, okay, that's enough. And they just get so funny. Yeah, right. Yeah, personal space. And I can feel this, and it's doing it with so much love and tenderness. So the dog really had a lot of love, and the love is still there. But so I would just say is, and don't get all upset if you don't. Okay, I'm going to dream about it tonight, and then you don't. You go, oh, I didn't dream. You can't do that because you have to change your thought process inside, and sometimes it's not really consciously available to you. You have to kind of learn how to maneuver around yourself, so to speak. But it will happen. Probably when you least expect it to happen, it's going to happen. But your dog is very, and it's still a dog. She's very fine. But I don't think that she's going to come back or anything anytime soon, or it would depend on how you grow, because you need to move from the space as where you're sitting right now. You need to move forward.
But if Lily comes back, she will come back as a dog, not as something else.
She's staying as a dog somehow for some. She's showing me as a dog. She likes the idea of, hi, I'm the dog. Okay. Sometimes they come in all different ways, but she's like, no, I am the dog.
She sounds like a Labrador or a golden retriever. That's the kind of energy I'm picking up.
Yeah. It's something I don't know, but see, like sometimes I can look at a lab and it can be a poodle inside, or it can be a chimpanzee or whatever, because it's had many different lives of animals. It's like, I'm going to try to be a lab now and see how that goes. I once had a client who, she was a dog trainer, so she called me many times about different animals, and I happened to have saw her at a dog show, and I was running to the bathroom, and so I'm like running, and she goes, hi, Shirley, and I turn over, and she has this big standard poodle. I go, what are you doing with a gorilla? But I'm running to the bathroom, and she goes, oh my God, that makes so much sense, because no other dog would even get near that dog. But how is it gorillas don't play with dogs really well? I mean, there's a few, But
True.
then they had to treat the dog more like a gorilla and teach it how to be a dog. And then
Oh,
everything worked out. But I'll never forget that because I'm just like, running and it's like, hey, your mouth, Shirley. And I'm like, gorilla?
wow.
Interesting. But, I'm on a mission. I'm going for it.
You're such a Dr. Dolittle. I know. I have to say it. I know you're fed up of hearing that. I know everyone's been saying it, but you are the real life Dr. Dolittle. I mean, you're talking to animals and it's fascinating. So fascinating. I want to bring up a question by Elizabeth. How does one know their animal reincarnates back to the family?
There'll be no doubt. There'll be no doubt. I mean, you just go like, I wonder, and it keeps coming up into your mind. But don't try to keep proving it because then you're doubting. You're saying, no, this doesn't happen. Like
Yeah, that's
like
because
like for
irrational
instance,
thinking comes in.
for instance, that couple that had that one dog, old dog alive, and the new puppy, same time, they came out. They had to even fly out to California to get the dog, and they had her, and she was fine. But the man who was more, it was his baby, and he also had like a little bit of a crisis. Like, how do we know? How do we know? I don't know if this is it. Am I doing something? And all of a sudden, I felt that dog like going, I can't stay if he does this. And I'm like, and I wasn't anywhere near them. I wasn't talking to them on the phone. And I'm like, she's going, call them now. And again, I'm a good puppy, So I had their number. So I called them and I go, what's going on? Because she's saying, I can't stay here if he does this.
Oh, okay.
And so I had to talk to him for a minute and say, this is what you're saying. You're saying you don't want her. And if that's, she won't be able to hold in that body because you're saying, no, this can't happen. And if you put that energy out, then how can you expect it to happen? It's like, when you worry, you're asking for that to happen. So there's certain frequencies in which, it's not good to have like, chatter in your head.
It makes perfect sense because it's with people like when I read people and then they say, and I tell them after reading that their deceased loved one is going to send them a sign just to validate that they were around, just to validate that, because people are very open after they have had a reading energetically, spiritually, and everything. So it's easier for deceased loved ones to sort of connect with them. And I keep telling them, don't try to make it fit. You will know if that sign or what you're seeing is from your loved one, but don't go looking for it because that's just going looking for it. And you're actually blocking any energy coming through or any spirit or any loved one from connecting to you. So that makes perfect sense with animals too. Let me just bring on Star Midnight's question. Has my cat bonded with me? What does he think of me? Is it a male cat? But I keep referring to him as a her, although I know he's a male. Why is that?
Well, we have, I don't know how I would say it. It's not like we're male or female. Sometimes I'm really bad at sexes. I mean, because there will be an energy that will come through that's more masculine or more feminine or more alien. Like there's a lot of times I talk to people and I just go like, I don't feel like you're a humanoid. You're really from here. You're from somewhere else and you're having this human experience. Yeah. Well, I think I even said that to you. You
did. I know that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you have purple blood or something like that, but it's just that's where you are. So don't, you like a person like you who keeps trying to fit in and be the norm. You're not really going to because it's always going to feel a little off. It's almost like common sense. It's supposed to be common, right? But it's not. That's just like how it is. And so with that, I just touch, well, if you have, you might have a more masculine part inside you or a more feminine part, a more little, we call our inner child part. Okay. That's the same as with animals or any being. Just what part did they bring here? Because it's kind of like, being here, they may only get their finger, the little baby finger. That's all that they can fit of themselves here, and the other fingers are somewhere else, dealing in and experiencing other things. So it's all different, and it could also be, it's not like I get an absolute with Star with your animal or this cat that you're talking about, because one thing you're in this. These are lessons for you to learn and for you to identify with. And so if I go and take your lesson from you and just hand you the answer, I'm not helping you, and you can't make me do that. Okay. So in this case, you could have also had maybe an animal friend that was female when you were younger, and it's that same entity coming through and it's reminding you and giving you something that's familiar in that sense, coming through. But it can be all different sorts of things. But again, when you're saying like I can't bond, then you need to look inside yourself, because there's a part of you that's not bonding with you.
Right.
The animal is just a mirror. The animal is just a mirror.
Baroness says, thank you so much, Shirley, because you were spot on. Wow, she said, about her dog Lily. And then Light Mission is asking, my beloved Luckia Doberman died when I was a teenager. I'm still heartbroken. I felt like a bad pet parent for not taking better care of her. How is she?
I don't think that dog seems alive to me. It seems like it's a little chihuahua. So I guess she's fine. She's on to another mission, like that.
On to another body.
Yeah. She doesn't feel like a Doberman at all to me, or that she's hanging around. She's, not that she doesn't have wonderful feelings about you. And so I will tell you is you're just beating yourself up, because she's not thinking about, oh, you know what you did to me. She's off being a happy little chihuahua. I mean, she's like this big. But she's alive. She's on this side.
But chihuahuas are bottle-sized Dobermans, aren't they? They can be like, yep.
Oh, Dobermans are sweethearts.
They are sweethearts. That's true. And
they're
so
very, yeah. So, it's really, so you just say I would suggest the next time you see one, instead of saying they're all yappy because it fell through, you just say, I've met some ones that I would care not to have brought home. And I'm glad that they don't live with me. But I'm sure that there's wonderful ones that I would adore. Because then you're open, you're neutral.
True. Isa wants to know, my sweet cat Celis disappeared on the island of La Palma a few years ago. I always wonder what happened to her and what she's doing now.
She's on the other side.
Oh, sorry to
hear
that.
It's not it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. I know, but I'm saying because
but at the same time, she, there wasn't any pain, and she had she got to play Tiger before she left. It's like when you pick up your voice messages.
Yeah. You
go ding, the next, and then hi, this is so and so, and then you go to the next message. So she left you a voice message that thank you for letting her go to leave this earth, this planet, as a tiger. She got to experience as a tiger.
I love that.
I don't know what kind of island that you left her on, if it was loaded with people or whatever, but somehow she got to walk around and be a tiger to her fill, and then she got to leave.
Light Mission says, thank you. I'm glad she's happy and moved on. We have another one by Kate. My dog Gus has a loose tendon in his back knee that causes his leg to get stuck in the bent position. When this happens, he waits for me to straighten his leg. Does this issue scare him or cause pain?
It does cause him pain when you don't fix it, but you fix it when he says that you fix it with so much love, but she's very tender when she's doing it, and how every time you do that is like you're filling him up, like if you would fill a car up with gas, with special healing love. And so he just, and you have to watch out about him, because you have to say, I can love you like that without you being hurt, because to him it's like, well, this is special, but he has to keep his hurt. And so so it would be nice for you just so I could love you even more without the tendon, and I could give you little massages. So then you play with his head and everything, other times than just his tendon or his knee, and you're gonna find him like, oh well, yes, this is true, so that he can also move on, because you and him walk a lot together. He says like you're like three legs. You have like three-legged race. It's together. Together again. We're friends, like that. So he's so happy. He's just really happy. And remember, happiness, I mean, when you're in pain, you have a choice. You can go, oh, I'm in pain, or you can go like, okay, I'm breathing. You know, there's all these good things that are around me and everything else. And that's what he chooses. You know, and he just knows he's so safe with you.
Oh, so Issa's saying that it's indeed correct that her cat was a tiger on that island. She caught lizards all day long. So there you go.
I didn't know a tiger eats lizards, but okay, yeah, you know.
Well, in her mind, she was a big tiger, you know, like roar.
Yeah, she stalked him. Yeah, she stalked him. And
Oh,
it's so funny because tiger is very different energy than lion.
Oh yeah,
Very
I mean
different,
we know
very
the
different,
lion energy.
very different energy. And so, but she was like, no, and I mean, she really was the tiger. I mean, it was really interesting. So that's cool.
I want to bring up.
Thank you for letting me know.
I missed Elizabeth because Elizabeth said before at the beginning of the show that she had, I don't remember, was it a cat, Elizabeth, or a dog that just crossed over, called Elvis. So, and does Elvis miss me too? I feel like I was robbed because I was not ready to say goodbye.
Okay, you need to listen to this.
She brought up the question. Sorry. She said, "How is Elvis? He had so much anxiety. He was my special baby boy, and I'm worried about him." That's
okay. So
confusing.
Okay, so that's okay. So this may make sense to you, but you need to listen to this because it's not that he misses you at all, because he's whole. Okay, he's whole where he is now, and he appreciates everything you did. But when he was here, it was like his car, his body, it wasn't exactly right, and it wasn't made up right, so it was painful for him to be here, in a sense. And so he was very happy to cross because that went like, you know, and he could be his own self again. But it isn't that he didn't care for you or he didn't, quote, quote, love you, as what we use the word love from humans. It's that he's relieved that he no longer has to be in his car.
I've got a question now about, I used
like all that, like, wait, I'm sorry, like all that anxiety and everything that he experienced with you or what you saw, he no longer has to live in that world at all. His mind is clear because to him, he was always in a fog. You know, and he touched bases. It's almost like he was like being in his body was like being in a balloon that would go up out of the body and smash back into the body, up and down. He didn't ever have any control.
Oh, so he's in a much better place now, obviously, because he's gotten rid of the body. Now, two questions. One of them is that I used to have a bulldog. Her name was Mia, and I loved her to bits, but she had some kind of kidney issue that we weren't aware of in the beginning. We knew she had these like allergies and stuff, so we took her to different vets, even vets that specialize in bulldogs, and no one was able to diagnose her kidney failure, basically. So it all happened really fast afterwards when she got really sick. Now the question is, because I've tried as a psychic, because I can connect to my own pets in a sense that I passed on, not the way you do, but energetically, like I feel them. But I can't with Mia. So is it possible? Like, I know that, because I asked you as well whether Mia has reincarnated into Lou, but I never felt that. I felt like Louie is an animal from a past life that's just come back. But why is it that sometimes we feel so connected to certain pets, like I did with Mia, but then we don't feel them around? Or, you know, I also feel that she's not going to be there when I cross over. You know, how our pets and our loved ones greet us or they're around us in some way, or just as we transition or we cross over. But I have a feeling that she's not. Can you shed some light? Because that's really weird.
Okay, well, she's here, so and she's smiling, and she says, like, you know, it was kind of like you're still learning those lessons, you're learning things, because everything that she had was out of your control. Okay.
Yeah.
And that she goes, we don't want to really talk about that on live TV, right? You know, right, Shirley? You know, right? Like
Yeah,
she says that that's too private, but you've grown a lot and you're going to keep growing. So she will always
makes sense.
deny you. She will always deny you. So she's like going peekaboo. You won't know until you get there whether I'm there or not. Like surprise or whatever, because that part of you that's growing needs to not be able to know. You need to trust
That
and
makes
walk.
that makes so much
Yeah.
sense, and
Yeah,
that
but
is
she's so happy that you asked it. It's like,
really
I
that's
mean,
her energy.
oh my gosh, yeah. Like,
Oh, I got goosebumps.
she's probably really happy at a party and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'd want her living with me because I don't know what I'd come home to.
Oh, oh,
You
I'm
know,
so
I'm like,
happy though that you
yeah,
were able, because that I'm really happy because I want her to be good. I want her to be happy. It was hard, but
well,
that's
she was really happy with you too, but she came for that mission to do that, and she thought
makes sense.
she did it with such tact.
She did.
Like she should get the Oscar or whatever, like an award. Like, yes,
She
that's right.
did. You're so spot on.
I like to thank everybody in the universes. I did my job with my human, my alien so well.
My alien. Oh, I love it when my pets call me alien.
you know, so
But that
anyway,
makes perfect sense.
so she's just like I mean, I'm going like this because she's almost making me cry out of happy tears.
Oh no, because I'm gonna cry because every time I think of her, I talk about her, I cry, and it's been 8 years, so it's like, oh no, okay, let's change the mood now. So
Well,
let me.
she says a lot of times that when you think about her, she says, and think about this and moving forward from this moment, that you think about her because that part of you that needs to learn to trust, you need to talk to that part and say, hey, we can do this. We got this. We can trust, so that your screens open up wider. It's not that you're really thinking about her, it's what she represented. And she never was able to tell you when she was alive with you. And then because you couldn't connect with her, because the part of you that says, no, we're in control, says, we are not talking to that dog. That dog tricked us. Okay. So you're not going to make that connection because that part is in your way.
No, that
So
makes
she
so
just
much
says,
sense.
yeah. So, but she says, but you, because of the experience that you had and all the different things that were happening, like all the different vets and nobody knowing and stuff, and I'm going to battle for you. Why is this not working? And she's just getting worse. And you did everything you possibly could. She says that part is in you because it's in your heart. The other part's in your head. Okay.
You're gonna make me cry now. Oh my god.
Don't go and allow that part to win, because it's just like she's I'm sorry. I mean, sometimes I don't mean to laugh at things like this, but they show me.
It's okay, but she made me laugh all the time.
And the pictures they show sometimes I'm not ready for it, and so she's showing me where it's like this really hard broom or whatever, but it's a bat, and she's like, you just take that part and go like it's a golf, golf like a golf ball. You just knock it out of your head.
This will make so much sense because that was her energy. That was her energy. She made me laugh all the time. Like, she was incredible, and incredibly patient dog too. Although before, so to dry up my tears as well, and I want to, first of all, I want to say that Elizabeth is saying that she's crying. I'm crying, but I feel so much better. You hit the nail on the head. Elvis was all that you mentioned. Thank you so much. I can breathe now. And thank you, Baroness. This is so touching. You're actually helping so many people connect.
It's my pleasure.
Amberson,
remember, your animals are our animals have so much to say to us, and it's just that we don't know whether to believe or not to believe or whatever. We hold all these negatives, in and even or we put them up on a pedestal, like people go to me so many times, and I go like this because people go like, oh, animals never lie, and I'm like, what planet are you on? Because it's like people, sometimes we lie to ourselves. We have free will. We can do whatever we want. We want to believe just and see this much. That's all. We want to see this much. That's all. We want to see nothing. We don't have to see anything. There's nothing wrong with that. But it can come across as lies or different things. Like I tell people, I mean, it's like I have a cable company up here. And if they come on channel 42, liar, liar, pants on fire. Yes, okay. And I always tell the animals, like, okay, I'm gonna think on you. You know, because I'm carrying a conversation on with them as I'm talking with the people too. You know, but there's just so much out there. I mean, you'd be so surprised. But we want to think in boxes. You know,
That's why we're doing
and
this. We want to also allow
yeah,
people
bless you
to.
for doing it. I really appreciate it.
Amber says, my 14-year-old cat has been meowing a lot recently. The kid says she might be telling us that she is in pain. Could that be?
What is your kitty's name?
Amber, what is your kitty's name, please? Let's see. While Amber is typing in the name, I'm gonna bring someone else
She's
up.
having a trying to hear herself.
Hold on. We'll get back to that. Amber, I hope you're still here. We'd like to know your cat's name. It's me. Cal says, a friend is going to give me a Rottweiler, gorgeous dogs, when they're born. Outside of the law of attraction, are there any character traits that you suggest I look for?
In that case of those puppies in that litter, that's kind of like you're kind of going a little bit in a minefield, you know. So you have to kind of watch out because there's one parts that you might be attracted to, or somebody might tell you and give you an influence. And I think that you need to sit and just be really quiet and just hang out with them, and see even who comes and hangs out with you versus who plays with the rest of the litter, or goes and plays with them a little bit and comes back and hangs out with you. But you just need to be sitting in there and be still, because it's kind of like I hate to use the word test, but in English there's not like a lot of words that fit the energy. It's kind of a test that you brought to yourself. So I have all the confidence, in you that you'll pass it. Okay, but there is a particular entity that's coming to be with you, but it's also free will that if you pass it, you pass that moment. It's kind of like there's a lot of different ways to get to Rome. So in that case, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever way you try. But there is an entity that's in that litter that wants to be with you. But there's other ones that will harass you in different ways. So it's just kind of like you're picking which road you want to go down. But I would say, taking all that into consideration, that the best for myself, if it was me, and see how it is and see how the interaction, because the one is going to come and be by you. But don't go, okay, now who's going to come and be by me? Because then you're not being really honest, authentic. You're like, okay, I'm waiting. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just sitting there, fall asleep, take a book, snore. see what happens. Let life show you, because life is always there to show you what's right in front. I have my schedule, of how that is and everything. And then what I say to them is what I think I'm going to be doing or what I end up doing, because they're all different things. And so every moment changes, and just in that moment, miracles can happen and change. You're going this direction and you go this way, and then you go this way. And right now in the energy fields, there's so many, as you know, there's so many twists and turns, and it's just really funny. But sometimes the twist and the turn is like a straight line. It just doesn't seem like it at the moment.
That's good advice to you. It's me, Kel. The cat's name is Tilly.
Okay. Yeah, I think she has a. I think she has some problems with her teeth, and she has problems with hearing, and so she's meowing because sometimes it's kind of like she's trying to get her speaker to work, so she's like meow 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 meow. No, that's it. Meow 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 meow. Oh, there. Meow.
Ooh.
The back of her mouth is like
So she's not in pain. She's just being.
If she's in pain, she's not really. She's not. It's not. How would you say it? It's not stopping her because she has a lot of ailments. Like, she's lucky that she gets her car going, but sometimes she starts it like sometimes like some crazy start, And finally goes, okay.
That's
So
when
she's used to
focus
that.
down.
But when they go and think about her having pain, what they're doing is sending her pain. So when you look at her,
Oh.
just blow her kisses and just say, oh, such a lovely voice you have.
Oh,
Such
see?
a lovely
That's a
voice
good
you have.
tip.
And just say, if you wanted to know, Telly, I hear you. That's your outside voice. Okay, because they have an inside voice.
Just talk to them. Just talk to them,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Like you would a friend, anyone.
Yeah, because here would be like it is. Okay, let's say I got hit in the eye, and it was like 3 weeks ago, but it was really pretty and purple and all different psychedelic colors. Okay, and I haven't seen you, and then all of a sudden you walk in, and you go, oh, ow, what happened? My eye hasn't hurt for weeks, but my eye will start going, ow, 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 because of how you see the pain. Because we are always exchanging
That's a good
energy.
point.
Always.
That's
Always.
such a good point.
And
Absolutely.
for those of you who have cats, the cat can walk in like really tired, and you're sitting on the couch and you're in a good mood, or you're reading a book, or you're doing on the computer, and the cat jumps on your lap or sits next to you or on your back, whatever, along your shoulder, and all of a sudden you're like, oh God, I'm really tired. Ooh, and also the cat jumps down and goes away. The cat just stole your energy.
But isn't that what they say? They say cats absorb energy or take your energy and
everybody does. Everybody does.
That's true, but this is like what they say, and because I find
they say a lot of things. Okay, like they say, animals don't lie. Okay, so when people go in absolutes, I don't think there is. I think the absolute is that there are no absolutes.
That's
okay. True. That's just the way that I see it, though. I mean, I don't expect anybody else to see it that way. They can see it whatever way they want, but that's something that I've learned, for myself.
Paula is asking, my 2 male cats, they're called Cuss and Teddy, are causing me issues. The older one wakes up for food, the younger one chases him. I'm so tired. Any tips?
I could give you tips, but they don't want me to give you tips because they feel like this is a very personal issue.
Book a reading with her.
And so I don't want to do that, because all that's going to do is probably get you,
hop onto her website,
potty somewhere,
and book her in if you want a deep dive, because I understand, Shirley, because when we do this, some things we have to keep away from the public because it's a personal thing. There are personal things that comes out. So, Paula, I would suggest that you definitely book a reading with her, with Shirley. I just want to say,
but I will say neither one is it happening for bad reasons, or they're trying to be awful. Okay. But there's a lot of miscommunication there, and a lot of what they're trying to do isn't going to work. So, you kind of have a knotted, like when you tie a knot and you can't get it undone, it needs to be undone. You need a different rope. So,
I'm watching my classmate's cat this weekend. His name is Rocky. He's a black cat. He has been puking a lot. Why is he puking?
I don't know. He's not talking.
He's not talking? Okay.
No, he's not talking. So I have no idea.
Okay.
But, there's probably something there, and that's probably something, and I know he's not talking to me. He's not like, I don't know. He's not talking to me. That's the difference. Like, you can come in and say, Shirley, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel this way. Okay, that's very, very different. But he's like off the board. He's not even, coming to that. But to me, if you have an animal that something like that is happening a lot, and could be even like sensitivities, like people have allergies or different things, the energy psychically right now is really huge everywhere. So I mean, it could be something like that or whatever, but I would definitely take them to the vet or the acupuncturist or whatever to see what that is, just to make sure, because otherwise it could lead to things that aren't really fun for anybody.
No, that's for sure. But definitely the energy is
It's huge.
right now.
Yeah, it's never been like this before. So this is the first time. So congratulations, everybody who's human and who's ever, an entity on this planet. We're having a very special time right now.
Especially today, because this is the first day of Mars retrograde, and we have 6 planets retrograde and a full moon in Pisces, which is all about illusions and romanticism and busting bubbles. So the energy.
Really? Oh wow. That's interesting. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, but if you're gonna go to retrograde, you might as well, hey, give me it all.
Exactly.
But retrograde isn't like a negative, because you can take that energy and make it positive. It's recognizing it and not jumping into it when you see everybody else go into it. Then you go, whoops, wait a minute, go ahead. I can wait here. That's okay. Go ahead, cross. That's okay. And breathe in, and then you go, yay, okay, we didn't jump into that one, and go. Because I like some Mercury retrogrades, or the retrogrades, whatever, on the planets, because they really do make a lot of energy in their cleansing. And if like people say in Mercury retrograde, don't do contracts or whatever, well, you just need to be really clear.
And this retrograde is going to be a nightmare, because it's six planets retrograde: Uranus, Pluto, Saturn. It's just crazy. But as Shirley said, any retrogrades, it's just slowing down the energy. It's just slowing down the energy, and it's allowing you and giving you the time to get rid of things that are no longer serving you, and to reevaluate things. That's the whole point. And also be careful when you drive and you travel and you send emails, because that's what happens.
Yeah, the things will disappear, but don't get upset about it. I mean, for that matter, for this morning, I had a whole email by itself that had me be able to go into this link to open to this live, which I've never done this particular time before. I've been on TV and all of that, and news and all that sort of stuff, but never this, right? Well, I open up my computer and I'm already, I'm like, where is it? Like that. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's in that thread, and I'm going through, and it literally isn't there. And then all of a sudden you go like, are you funding the link? I'm like, no, you better send me a whole new one, separate link by itself. And even that one had a hard time going through. And this all happened 4 minutes before we went on.
Yes, I had a feeling. I was like, I think she can't find the link. Let me just send it to.
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm playing, But today I got the headsets to work with my head versus having the speaker like I'm talking to my computer, which is what happened yesterday. I didn't know.
Yeah, but I mean the sound and everything is perfect. Anyways, we can hear you loud and clear, and you can hear us too. And I'm glad you can see the comments as well underneath. But before we wrap it up, I just want to say, because as I said in the beginning, you're becoming a TikTok sensation. So you have a lot of followers and a lot of people, and this is what I love about what we're going through right now. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, but this is all pushing us and driving us somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, and the animals say that they're going to save the world. And,
I feel that too.
And if you think about it, like what you saw in videos or different things, or like I'm 64, so I mean I know before video time. Okay, you wouldn't know what was going over in Greece or wherever, and because of TikTok or multimedia, things like that, people are catching these things. Like, they're touching the whale and they're videoing it, the whale coming up to the boat. And even what I see on some of these is the whale's looking good. Okay, oh, here's the camera. Hi, that's right. I'm a whale. I'm saying hi. Remember, I think, be nice to my water, So they're doing that. And so I'm really just honored, and I feel so grateful that I can even help, and that they're willing to trust me to talk to the animals and tell their people things. But the whole point is, they don't really want to talk to me. They want to talk to their people. But if they have to use me at first, fine, But all in all, they want everybody to learn. And I think people are moving towards that, because as we clean ourselves out, we can see more. But, that's why I teach a lot of people, how to do it. Everybody can learn it. you know.
Imagine this, you wouldn't be able to do that 4 or 5 years ago because people were not that open yet. People weren't that connected to a higher purpose and to their higher selves and to spirituality. And this is what fascinates me about TikTok, because it is the most fast growing, let's say, social media platform out there. And it's not just for Gen Zers, because people think that's just Gen Zers on there. All age groups are on TikTok, and there's a lot of interesting information you can get from it. Okay, but there's spiritual talk, which can be a little bit just, be careful with the readers and the psychics on TikTok. Not everyone is legit.
Well, but that's the same thing anywhere. That's the same thing anywhere. It does not matter. I mean, because like for that, what you say, I don't know how many people have stolen my videos on my TikTok. Okay.
Oh, they have?
And oh yeah, and then they pretend that they're trying to be mean. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
And they go, oh no, we do it over texting or whatever. Well, if anybody knows me, I am currently becoming a better secretary and a better person who can use the computer and stuff like that. I used to be terrible, but I'm much better now, and I'm learning every day. Okay, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
Because like if I'm like talking to them and talking to you, the last thing I can do is 1, spell, and 2, sit there and type. It just doesn't, for me, it doesn't work. But they're doing that, and everybody, what goes around comes around or whatever. I mean, I'm not worried about it or going, oh my God, they're selling, because whoever's watching them, at least they're watching them. Okay, but you need to be careful.
You're helping people realize that they can connect to their animals, to any animal. It's not just pets. It can be a turtle. It can be a snail. It could be any kind of living, breathing creature out there that you can communicate. And what I love is that you're growing so fast because people really want to learn from you, which is why I reached out and I said, hey, Shirley, would you like to come on my channel? Because this is exactly what I'm doing with this channel, is sort of like putting it out there, making it more mainstream. It's not, spirituality and being able to communicate with other species, with animals, with spirits, whatever, anything out there. It's not just this, it's not a taboo. It's not this sort of like, I don't know how to say it, like how they used to see it, that you're summoning the devil and you're evil and this is BS and this is not legit and etc. And I love that especially with animals, because it's much harder, like I read people, so that's easier because they can connect in a way with what I'm saying, because it resonates, especially when I'm connecting them with someone who's passed on. I'll give them some intricate detail which will resonate. But when you're communicating with animals, some people can be extra skeptical. But in your case, and having followed your TikTok, I just love how you're exponentially growing and you have such a warm and fan base, people who
they're wonderful people that follow me. They're very blessed. I mean, I it's really great considering I didn't even know anything about TikTok, and my daughter put me on it, and it broke my website, and I was like, what is going on?
Right.
And my very first video went like really majorly viral, and I was like, but this is for 12-year-olds, and I take, whoever I do a reading for, I always find out where they're from and how old they are, and I've yet to talk to a 12-year-old. So they're mostly people who are like early 20s all the way up into their 70s, and most of them are like in their 30s up to their 70s, and it's male, female, So I'm looking. I don't know where the children hang out on TikTok, but I obviously am not there.
No, I don't think that you're there. I mean, they're mostly about Roblox and gaming stuff and I don't know.
Well, each their own. I'm not into bungee jumping, so
Exactly.
I think my organs like to be right where they are. They don't need to be moved around. But adding to your what you had said is, and I can just say from my own experience, like when I was raised. Yeah, you did not talk to anybody about it because they didn't really understand. Okay, so people, and I would get called, like I'd get called to the racetrack. Okay, and I've always been, like like I've never really advertised or anything like that. My base has been always people referrals. Okay. And I've raised my whole family on with what I've been doing, and I've been doing this my whole life. So they would call and they go, so I don't know, just call her. She's uncanny. And people like at racehorses, they would go like, they were abusing one or didn't understand, and I'd find out which horse, why it wasn't running. Okay, because if the horse doesn't run, the trainer doesn't make any money, and if the owner usually has 3 or 4 horses, he pulls those horses out. Well, if the trainer gets mad because he's invested in the horses lose, they go to the canner or they go somewhere where it's not really very fun. So I go and I talk to them. And then all of a sudden everything changes because I just talked to them. And they go, what did you do? And I don't know, but aren't you glad it worked? That's what I used to say all the time from the time I was like in my teenage years all the way to in my early 20s. And then it started to change. I mean, now it doesn't matter because I can say what I do to anybody and explain to them, somewhat of how it works or whatever, because, we're all here and we're all, like we have like 3 worlds. Like you have the one that's water, liquid, and you have the one that's land, and then you have the one that's gases and stuff. And they all interchange, but that is what makes everything here. And that's kind of how interspecies communication is. But this has been coming. This time has been coming for us. And so when people look at everything and they see how, oh my gosh, how awful it is. You also have to remember that when we get over this hump, think of all the lessons that sadly we had to go through that in order to learn and grow.
Yeah.
The animals see, healing. That's what they want. And so everybody can do that, but I don't see it hard for myself. I don't see it hard talking to animals or talking to people, like on the other side or whatever. What I see the people having the hardest time is, talking to themselves, helping themselves and being kind. And that is the first stop. You need to stop there and work on that, because love is, you need to come from love, and that means self-love too.
And that's something that humanity and the collective is learning now, and this is where it's all leading to. And the first step to ascension is love, is self-love. It's love your peers, love yourself, and that's the first step. And then we're moving on. But I'm glad you said that, because I've been feeling it that animals are going to be an integral part of this ascension and this energy shift that's going on right now. Because animals, I also feel that in this year and the next year, we're going to be hearing a lot more of stories or situations that involve animals in a very miraculous way, in a sense, how animals saved someone, some kind of animal, or like a wild animal behaved in a certain way that it's not the norm, let's say, for a wild animal. And I feel that we need them. And this is where it's all leading to. The animals are sort of like paving the way, and we're like following behind through this ascension, because they are our masters. We're not their masters. They are our masters on the other side, I feel, in a certain sense, I don't know how you see it, or what's your experience about it?
To me, it's like, let's take dance, using that as a concept. Dancing is joy. Okay, it doesn't matter how good you are as a dancer or not. It's to be willing to have the joy. And there's all different levels and stuff like that. And it's not like one is higher or lower or anything else. We're all together. I mean, we all are one. It's like, there's an infinite sea and we're an infinite grain of sand, but you put us all together, or if you take the ocean, for example, and the ocean's made up of a certain combination of elements or whatever, but you can have a drop of the ocean in your hand, but what you really have is you have the ocean is in your hand, because it has everything, every elements that are out there. You look up at the sky, you're really looking at yourself, but you may only be looking at as much of yourself, because there's so much more out there that we don't see with our naked eye or even with the telescope.
That's a good analogy, actually.
You know,
That's a
so
very good analogy. Yeah.
so I just walk with that, and it just, the animals keep showing me that, and myself, I guess, because I'm willing to smell the flowers as I walk and go, oh look, there's a posy, you know. And I take my time and I smell it, because there's always a rhythm, and the rhythm isn't just like, okay, I'm going to walk this way. It changes. It has
Mm.
variables, just like the wind and the
Mm.
breeze. Or like, I always look up at the clouds and I just go like, wow, such amazing art. And every day it's a different canvas,
True.
you know. And so it's like, I just appreciate all of those things and more. You know, I even appreciate it when animals are being boogers. I go like, oh, okay, so you can touch them on my button. Okay, let's see, you know. But like, you know, people go like, well, how when does the animal become conscious or whatever or not? And I'll tell you, like, I've raised a lot of puppies, or I'm godmother for a ton of animals. Anyway, and a little puppy may be 6 weeks old and it's got something on mine, and I look at it and I go, excuse me, and they're like, yes, and I go, since when did that become yours? Because I could have sworn this morning it was
Mm.
mine, and I got no memo. And then I just wait. I don't go, puppy, you bad puppy, what are you doing? Or no, puppy, give me that. Or just grab it from the rear. Or here, have a treat. Fine, I take my thing back. I don't do any of that. I just say the truth. And
Yeah.
then I think in my head, at least, like, da 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 da, because I want the puppy to think. I
Yeah.
don't want the puppy just to listen to me. I want the puppy to be consciously aware. And so the puppy will sit there and think about it. I mean, of course, the puppy knows it's mine, but the puppy's trying to think like, "Oh, how can I get out of this?" You know. And so it will try to maybe run away with it. Well, it's a puppy; I can catch it really easy. Or you'll go like,
Mm.
"Oh, okay, fine," and he'll spit it out. Either way, you know, I go, "Thank you," and I go, "Now I don't slobber on your things. Do not slobber on mine, and we're not going to talk about this again." And it goes like, "Okay." That same puppy, and I've done this. Remember, I'm 64. I can say this now. I've done it where they've lived out their whole life to 15 years, okay, and they never touch anybody's stuff because of that lesson that they learned then, that it made an impression in them, and they
Yeah.
went like, "Well, that's true." Just ask, be invited. Don't go rushing through the door. Say, "Excuse me, did I invite you?"
Boundaries.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But if we let them run over us, we're running over ourselves too. And that's what the animals do. But they feel that they are less likely to hurt you, and they're a better mirror. And in a lot of ways, that's true, because we as humans can be the meanest to ourselves and to our fellow species than any animal, alligator, white shark, or whatever, you know, great white shark, or whatever it can be.
That's true.
And so it's just really different, you know. So anyway, so that's how I see it.
Right. And I think because we've been at it for almost an hour and a half, and I know that you're busy as well, and you're recovering as well from a very busy week, let's just call it, and because you were not feeling well. I just want to remind everyone that if you want to reach out and contact Shirley, everything is down below in the description box. If you want to book a reading for your animal, your pet, please do. You've seen how she works. You've seen that she's spot on. She picks up everything. This will really help you bond, understand your animals, your pets, and even a lot about yourself as well. So this is a great way of, yeah, it's a different kind of way also to learn things about yourself,
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
choose our pets, right? And there's a reason why we chose the specific pets
yeah,
or the specific
exactly.
breeds or the specific animal that we chose to have in our lives. So highly encourage you and recommend you to reach out to Shirley. See, I can't speak again now. I don't know what's wrong with me. This is what happened. You know, this I explain this to on my videos when I do lives, and especially when I do live reading. It's just sometimes what is happening
Not
here
there.
and on
Yeah,
my body. It's very hard for me to express, especially when I'm doing this, because my mind's like, okay, I have to look at the chat. I have to see what's going on. Is everything working? You know, and then on top of everything else, I'm being bombarded with messages, and I'm feelings and all that, and then it's just a lot. So bear with us, that
sure.
it's hard for us to kind of like um what's the word? I forgot what I was going to say, but it doesn't matter. Everyone, go on TikTok and follow Shirley as well. You will love her videos. I think your daughter helps you as well, because she also, aside from doing readings, people send you videos of their pets, right? And they're like,
Well,
what?
no, what she does with my daughter, because she knows that. I mean, she's lived with me her whole life, you know what I mean, or at least like through her childhood and stuff. And she's 39 now. I mean, she's married and everything, but she'll go and she looks at different TikToks that she sees, and then she hands me her pad, and she goes, "Okay, here, what do you see about this?" And so she catches it, right there, and so it's it's like the first time, just like here, it's. But she finds it. I don't really do people that are sending in videos and stuff, because you have to also understand that a video is just a clip. Like, I will ask for an animal's picture, for before they have a reading. I'll say, send me, text me their picture. Just snap it. I don't care if it's up there, it gets the whole body or whatever. It doesn't have to be a happy picture. I just need the animal's energy in the picture. And the reason being is because there's so many people on TikTok or whatever. It would be like talking to them intimately, in the middle of a mall or a doctor's office. And the animals sometimes get shy. Like, you saw a couple of animals go like, "Oh, no, I don't think that. No, private, sorry." Because anybody can tap into this. And they're like, And like, I think I mentioned to you, it'd be like standing naked in a mall. You don't want to do that. But by getting that picture, then I take them into the exam room so they have some privacy. I cannot bubble the whole mall, nor am I going to try and do all that. Forget it, Either you talk or you don't. But in the exam room, they have more privacy. And then that way, when people also, like, I don't do Zooms unless you're like out of the country. For me, it's just over the phone, because that way then you're not looking at the animal, you're not seeing what's going on. No, come and sit or whatever. You're right there on the phone, and all of a sudden, the people, they don't realize until usually they're off the phone, is that they were right there with me and they were hearing too. It was like they were seeing it happen right in front of them. Because sometimes the animal will just go, "Okay, Dr. Shirley." And they're out. And you're like, how can you talk to the animal like that? Well, they're doing that with their body because it's the easiest for them not to worry about their body. And then other times the animal will go and do things to the person and might say, like yesterday, the animal was saying something, and all of a sudden the animal interrupts and goes, "I just love how she smells. Even when she stinks, he doesn't think she smells right. I just love it." And she went like, he just was licking my face.
Oh, wow.
So he interrupted himself. You know what I mean? So sometimes things like that happen and stuff. But, it's just a matter of being open. But first, it's also a matter of give yourself, kisses too. And everybody's doing a great job. And I am so thankful for everybody who's on here today. And just, tell your animals, go back to them and say, "I'm on it. I'm working it." Don't say you're trying, because when you try to cross the road, you usually get hit in the middle. You're either on one side or not. Say, "I'm open to it," And don't say, "What do you want?" Because when we say, "What do you want?" we're asking a question, which means in our brain, we don't have an answer. We're looking outside of ourselves. Say, "That's a good point. Share with me what you're trying to tell me." Because when you're sharing something, we're sharing it together. We're linked. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is how we set things up.
That's
like
a good point.
We're the ones who get it in our own way the most,
That's a very good point. And that's a great way to end the show as well. Nice little tip on how it works and how to communicate with your animals. Thank you so much, Shirley, for coming.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
We might have you on again sometime soon, I'm sure, because I know that more people are going to watch this video. More people are going to have questions. But, go ahead and follow Shirley on TikTok, on Instagram, and check out her website down below.
I am on Instagram, right?
You are on Instagram, yes.
Okay. I don't even know. Okay.
No, you are on Instagram, not the hacked account.
There's a hacked account. There's a hacked account. I'm the account that says Animal Communicator that only has like a couple hundred followers or something. The hacked account that has like a couple thousand or something, that's somebody else. I have no idea. They're not me.
So check out down below which one's the right account. So don't
Thank
go
you.
follow this camera.
Yeah.
Thank you
very much.
everyone for being here. Thank you,
Yeah.
Shirley, for being here.
Thank
Let me
you.
just remind you, please like this video, follow this channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and don't forget to, to click on that notification bell, because YouTube is temperamental and it's weird sometimes, and sometimes you don't get the notifications on YouTube. Just saying, because I've had a lot of people complain about it. So just make sure you do those 3 steps, and I'll be seeing you again real soon. Don't forget, everyone, on Sunday, we're going live with Giorgio at 2 p.m. EST for another great show. Thank everyone for being here. Lots of love. Until next time. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.